In this video, I'm going to go over some of the Hopup and upgrade inner barrel parts for a WE Glock in the Glock series. It's actually going to be more of a replacement than an upgrade, but the replacement is actually a pretty big upgrade in my experience. I have two WE Glocks. I have a 35 and a 34. 35 is just a 34, it's a fire selector for the Airsoft one, and the real one's the 35 is a 40mm version of the 9mm 34. But as real guns, Airsoft guns. So this one is a stock WE Glock 35. Going to remove the inner barrel assembly. Off to the side. Hopup units. Get all the parts out. And if you're looking for more detail or a slower teardown of the WE Glock Hopup unit, there is another video. You can check it out on my channel. You can see a slower and more detailed explanation of it. So here's the problem with the WE Glock barrels. They're not the same as everyone else's barrels. This is a WE Glock stock barrel, just took it out. Here's a garter. This is a 6.02 made for like Tokyo Marine high kappas, which is basically what everyone else uses, and then their barrels work in all their gas guns. All their gas guns except for the Mark 23 non-blowback are all the same cut. So as you can see, with the Hopup chamber notches lined up and the buckings notch kind of locked up, there is a gigantic difference between these two barrels. So what that means is if you try to put a standard barrel or a standard or different bucking on that, you're going to run into issues. If you put a normal bucking on the WE Glock barrel, you're actually going to have a large gap between the barrel and the bucking. So here's like a maple leaf one. It's going to be right about there. So you're going to actually have a millimeter or so gap between the barrel and the bucking, and then you're just going to have inconsistencies and other issues, and maybe feeding issues. But yeah, it kind of sucks that they didn't just use a standard for whatever reason. Now, what you can do is you can replace it, and when I say replace, you basically replace everything. Now, there are two companies that make replacements, and I keep them in my Glock 34. Which apparently is being camera shy. So there are two companies that make replacements for the entire Hopup unit. The first one is AIP, which is a little bit harder to find, and the second that just came out relatively recently is RA Tech / Maple Leaf of Airsoft Taiwan. They make a Hopup unit that replaces the entire assembly with one that is compatible with high kappa parts, barrels, etc. And I prefer these the most because this assembly is what I get the most range and accuracy out of. Before I disassemble it, we'll go over some of the parts I use in it. So this is the Maple Leaf Hopup wheel. The nice thing about this, it is metal, which does make a gigantic difference. But the biggest difference is this is the channel for the Hopup Arm, which is half the wheel. The channel for the RA Tech Maple Leaf one actually uses the entire wheel as an adjustment range for the Hopup Arm. So you have a lot more range, you can do a lot less or a lot more hop with those. The second thing I use in this particular model, because it's a high cap and you use high kappa parts, which is a lot of them, is a steel Hopup arm. This is by Airsoft Masterpiece. They're not available stateside that I've been able to find, but these are steel Hopup arms. And the reason I like these a lot and why I switched to this system is you can see the surface area where it applies the hop is much larger. So you can use a couple of different upgrade parts, or you can use it on its own, and it's going to give you a much better hop area when you're trying to apply backspin. Now, what I use with this is I use the Maple Leaf I-Key. What the I-Key is, it's basically like a flat hop. kind of like the AG style, but I haven't seen anything quite like this in AG. It might be nice. So what this piece does is this is the part that applies pressure onto the bucking and then the BB, this nice slanted flat piece. And the way it goes in is little teeth face up against the arm, and this fits into a high cap one, kind of like that. So it doesn't move too much, and now you have this nice hard flat piece for applying hop, which is way better than this little dinky one. So as you can see here, it's very straight, got a lot of hop in this one. It does use 2 screws and 2 nuts, but yeah, and this is also a, I believe this is a Maple Leaf barrel, which has different notches, which is kind of handy. But I think Maple Leaf sells the entire unit now, so they have the Hopup unit, the Hopup dial. They don't have the steel arm, which is fine. You don't have to have that, just kind of nice feature. And then the I key in there, all assembled, which is pretty nice. Now they do have one made for the WE pistols, this F key. I've tried it. I don't like it. I didn't have very good results with it, so I recommend skipping that and sticking with the I key. But yeah, this is what I use, and this is what I had the most results out of, and what I would recommend people use. So, if you have any questions, let me know. Oh, one other quick spot is a little quick handy guide. What I do right here in the bottom of the Hopup unit is I scored a plus and a minus. That way when I go to adjust my hop, it's much easier for me to see which way I have to adjust the dial, rather than adjust the dial, shoot it, and then having to remember which way to go and going back and doing that. So just by adding a plus here and a minus here, or you can just adjust your dial and see if it's going up or down and score yourself. But this is very handy and nice thing to do. So, but have a good one.